champion or Random CS NexVerse 5v5 championships. I am your host, Chrono Cloud, and you are looking at the draft for Addiction versus FCK. They are going to be in Dragonshire, and of course, these are first picks here. We've got the first ban out, which is Tyron. Tyron and now Kale is the other ban as well. That is no surprise. Both of these have seen consistent bans over the past couple of weeks for various reasons. Obviously, Kale pumps out a tremendous amount of damage versus Tyrande, who provides vision, healing, and assist damage output as well. She's sort of an all-around person. So I haven't seen either of these teams play yet, so I'm not familiar with them. So I'm very excited about this. Anything can happen. We have our first pick here, Raynor. Very standard, very safe pick. Raynor obviously does a lot of damage with the Hyperion ult to buildings. And he also does a tremendous amount of damage to heroes. He's very solid, very consistent damage. Meanwhile, FCK has picked up Murden and Uther. This is a great pickup for them. Uther, obviously, one of the best healers in the game. Lots of stuns, CC, very good healing. And Murden is sort of, one of the top tier tanks in the game right now, up there with Johanna. Meanwhile, Addiction looks like they've picked up Zagara and Falstead. Falstead, one of my personal favorites, especially with the recent tweak to some of his talents. Falstead does very good damage. He's sort of very DPS focused, single target DPS focused. Doesn't have really great wave clear. Zagara, on the other hand, does everything. When I say everything, I mean damage. They're good for wave clear. They can really, really lay the damage on thick on a single opponent. And of course, the Maw is a fantastic engage for many fights. You just basically take out 2 or 3 people out of the fight when it starts, and that lets the rest of your team just wail on whoever is left standing there and take them out very quickly and efficiently. So excellent pickup. They obviously Addiction needs a tank and a healer, and so one of the things that pops out to me right away is within the meta, you tend to see a double tank comp, very, very common. But we're not going to see that here. You can see Addiction, they need a healer. They're not going to pick up 2 tanks. So they're going to go with a 1 tank, 1 healer comp. And that's interesting to me. Actually, I haven't seen too much of this. But right now we're looking at the second round of bans, and they've just gone out. And Karazim was picked by FCK, and of course Jaina was picked by Addiction. Now, Karazim is a smart move, is a smart sort of ban to make, right? Because it's denying a healer to Addiction. They need a healer. They still have a pretty good selection, though. They can easily pick up Malfurion. They can easily pick up Lili, or any other number of healers. But Karazim is a good deny because he tends to dive in. He's very anti-tank. So if FCK is going to go with a dual tank build, right now, they still have 2 picks left. They could easily pick up 2 tanks. He would be a good counter to that. Jane, of course, very solid damage dealer, one of the best in the game. It's going to be interesting where we see both mages, both Kale and Jaina, out of the match. So that should be interesting. And FCK has picked up Vala and ETC. ETC also recently has really come back as a top pick for tanks. He does everything well. He's all about positioning. He's all about stuns. He's got a good stun. And he does very solid damage. And of course, Mosh Pit is an excellent engage. If you can get yourself into the proper position, that will take out the entire team. Vala is also a top tier damage, one of my personal favorites as well. Absolutely love her. She does good damage, both single target and wave clear, depending on how she's spec'd, which is very useful. She's very very fluid and can adjust to the situation better than most DPS characters. Addiction picked up Brightwing as their healer. Brightwing is not as popular as some of the other choices, but is seeing fairly frequent play. Obviously, one of Brightwing's sort of strongest points is that they can teleport to their other team members. And in a map like Dragonshire, where you're fighting to control 2 points, that can be very critical because you can see, oh, the top shrine needs backup. Boom, Brightwing teleports in to the teammates, and at the last second, of course, because that's how the game's played, and manages to keep them alive and hold on to the shrine. Um, they're also good because they can stay in the lane and soak a little more. Oh, this is very interesting. Soak a little more and teleport again to their team at the last minute. So usually the team with Brightwing tends to have a slightly early lead advantage. That's going to be seen less so in the game like in the map like Dragonshire, where the control points are in the lanes themselves and they're not going to some random place where like a token is spawning. Uh, and then of course the last pick on addiction. This is a big surprise to me. Nazebo. I didn't see this coming at all. There's no warriors on this team. Very, very unconventional lineup. Nazebo, obviously, the zombie wall can be very useful. It can set up a lot of ganks, can set up, focus firing on a particular opponent. And Kerrigan was the last pick for FCK. Kerrigan is, I feel like, one of those characters where she is hard to play, but a good Kerrigan can really turn the tide for her team. Um, you got to remember with Kerrigan, it's all about building up the shield. You can't just dive in with her. If you don't have that shield in place from attacking the minions, it can be rough. So it's going to be very interesting to see how this plays out. So give us a second to set up the match for you, and we will be right back with this round of Addiction versus FCK. And we are back. As you can see, the game is loading up. What you didn't see was that there was a last-minute roster change. So what happened was we got a swap out. We have Chen now playing instead of the what was it? I'll tell you right now. Instead of the Nazebo, so they swapped out. Addiction has swapped out Nazebo for Chen, and in response, FCK has swapped out Kerrigan for Thrall. All right, so you're not crazy. In the lobby chat, they came to an agreement, and the swap happened. I don't think it changes things a little bit, obviously. So now Addiction does have a tank, and Thrall is an interesting counter. Thrall obviously is sort of a late game player, but around 13 gains a lot of power, so it should be very interesting. But let's take a second to introduce our team here. On the blue side, we have Addiction with MacFest on Chen, Deathclaw on Raynor, Just Link on Zagara, Zeal on Brightwing, and JDX17 on Falstead. Meanwhile, the red team, which is FCK, we've got Keo on ETC, Mario, on Muradin, Lomitha, hope I'm not butchering that too much, Lomitho on Uther, DeBlank on Thrall, and Neo on Vala. And you can see FCK has already moved into a ganking position in the mid lane. Meanwhile, Addiction has moved into a ganking position, looks like, on the bottom lane. No one's really fighting each other. First waves are out. FCK kind of in the middle. Looks like they're starting to move down. Addiction is backing off. Nothing crazy happening. Teams are starting to kind of poke at each other. You've got Zagara and Uther up top. I feel like Zagara is going to be a bit hard for Uther to counter, but we'll see. Now, Zagara is kind of a key player because they have vision, right, with their creep. So that can lead to a big advantage in the map like this. So we'll see if that sort of pays off, if that, makes a difference. And there's our first death. Brightwing goes down to FCK. You had a nice 4-man gank, not much that they could do there. You can see that FCK is starting to do a rotation between the mid and bottom lane. That's pretty normal. That's sort of a standard thing that you will see in Heroes of the Storm. Clear out the minion wave, move down, clear out the next minion wave, so forth and so on. Now, the 2 towers are up. Not 2 towers. I should say the control points are up. And it looks like we got Falstead way out of position there. He was easily picked off by FCK. But this sort of happens in Dragonshire. You're going to see a lot of fighting over the 2 control points. And I've seen matches go easily 10 minutes without anyone getting a single dragon. So it looks like Zagara there is moving to capture the control point on top. And this is sort of a delicate balance, right? FCK has to figure out, all right, do we stay and protect our control point? How many people should leave and pick up the control point up top? And they're trying to sort of figure things out. So you've got MacFest versus Keo down there in the bottom. And here comes Brightwing in to make the difference there. So it's 2 against 1. Keo's going to back off. Meanwhile, you're seeing a lot of pressure in the mid lane, surprisingly, from FCK. They don't really seem to be really care about moving in and controlling that top point. They're happy controlling the bottom point. And again, they sort of single out Brightwing. You had that stun from ETC and just that focus fire. If you've got 4 heroes focus firing on you, you're not going to stay alive very long. You're going to go down pretty fast. But this is interesting. I wonder if they're intending to push, if FCK is just intending to not worry about that top control point and just sort of slowly push into the territory of Addiction. You can see Vala just picked up the Giants. Those are coming down the bottom lane. And, Murden jumps in. He's trying to pick up Raynor here. Doesn't quite manage to do it. Raynor's a bit hard to kill, obviously. JD on Falstead doing a great job of sort of poking them from afar. And now finally we see FCK moving up. They want to try and grab the top control point. They're going to try and zone Zagara out, focus fire them down. Oh, and they just managed to do it. Fantastic stun by Murden, set up that particular engage. Thrall is picking. Looks like in the bottom, though, Chen almost managed to capture that bottom point. Not quite there. Surprised, actually, that he hasn't done it. So FCK has the top point. Zagara just came up. And now it looks like they're moving down. There we go. There's a capture. Raynor, being played by Deathclaw, picks up that bottom point. And so we're playing musical chairs again, essentially. Looks like there's a bit of a fight happening in the middle there. I'm very keen on controlling the middle. MacFest moving in. Oh, wow. Falstead got taken out. And looks like Chen also got taken out. Very, very nice. The problem with Falstead, does a lot of damage, doesn't have a lot of life. And even though, Brightwing was there, they heal sort of regularly. They can't control their healing. It's sort of a ping that happens every so often. And they weren't able to keep them up. So both points are now captured. And now Murden's trying to pick up the dragon. But of course, Raynor there and Brightwing are going to do everything they can to sort of keep them. Meanwhile, top point was recaptured by Zagara. And we're back to where we were. Now, I should point out real quick that Addiction has had no kills yet. So they're behind on level. Quick pause. But this is good. This gives me a chance to point a couple of things out. FCK, 7 kills. Addiction, 0. So that's where that level lead is coming in. You've got a 7 to 9 level differential. FCK is going to hit 10, that critical level 10. And that's going to almost definitely assure them the first dragon. Looks like we're getting some complaints of lag, funny enough, on FCK side, interestingly enough. All right. And we are back into the game. Now, as I mentioned, level 10 is going to be critical for them. They just really need one more kill. And looks like they're moving in on Raynor there. Great, great job by Keo managing to isolate Raynor there. They're just about to hit 10. And like I said, those level 10 heroics make all the difference. That 2-level differential is massive. So you can see Vala is moving in to capture the bottom point. They just hit the level 10s. Level 10 talents are up. You can see we have Mosh Pit, Avatar, Divine Shield, Sundering, and Strafe. Very, very solid picks by everyone. Looks like they're going to try and pick off Chen. You can see there the Sundering there did the stun on him. Mosh Pit from ETC. Bit of a waste, but they do get the kill. And now they're going to pick up that bottom control point. Uther's moving up top. Going to try and probably grab that one. And Murden is just basically standing by to pick it up. Zagara going to try to, move in there, try and stop him. There we go. Both control points are now held. And now, of course, you see Thrall and Vala moving up to zone out Zagara making a hasty retreat. First dragon is up, being controlled by Mario. And FCK has a solid lead. And, of course, they're going to do everything they can to hold on to that. And what you're seeing here is, looks like they're split pushing, essentially. Dragon's going to move up top, try and push top. Meanwhile, they tried to move down and gank Falstead, but you saw them coming. He was like, not going to work. Another thing that's very important about Dragonshire and most maps is that as the game goes on, the mechanic increases. And that's in the sense that the dragon will get stronger each time you summon him as the game time goes on. So he's going to try and maybe pick up the tower, maybe the gate. I don't know if he'll even get the gate. He's kind of low. Addiction has hit level 10 in the meanwhile. They're still kind of split. And you can see the talents, they're starting to select them. We have Wandering Keg, Rainer's Raiders, very surprising, not going with Hyperion. Usually you see the Hyperion pick here. Devouring Maw, very standard. Blink Heal, very solid. And Mighty Gust. Mighty Gust is an excellent ability. Oh, big fight at the bottom. Sundering, Mighty Gust going off, Wandering Keg. They were trying to isolate, Addiction was trying to isolate FCK. Didn't really work for them, though. It looks like Rainer at the end is out of position. And Mosh Pit has picked up Falstead. He's going to go down. Rainer manages to escape, though. Chen trying desperately to get out there. Nope. Just can't quite get away from 4 people wailing away on him. And that's totally okay. That's totally understandable. All right. Looks like Thrall's pointing back to base to get a little bit of mana. And meanwhile, they're going to try and pick up these Giants real quick. Up top, you can see Thrall is zoning out Zagara, trying to move in. Zagara is very low mana. And when Zagara doesn't have much mana, there's not much he can do. Not much damage she can do, I should say. But regardless, Mario's backing off. They're going to pick up their Bruiser Camp real quick. Basically, FCK wants to apply as much pressure as they can onto the team. They are leading in kills 12-0, and then levels 13-11. 13 obviously being the one talent tier above. They want to get to 16. And let's take a quick look at the talents. I'm most interested in the Thrall build myself. So you can see he's going with the Rolling Thunder build. Got Ride the Lightning there, Wind Shear, Sundering, and Giant Killer. I wonder if at 16 he is going to go for the Wind Fury, the Triple Strike Wind Fury. We'll see. Murden a little bit out of position there in the middle, but Addiction doesn't get a chance to capitalize on it. He quickly gets out of there. At the bottom, you can see here that the Giants are pushing in. They want to get another quick gank. There's a Sunder moving in on Shen. Stormbolt on Shen. He was stunned. He's kind of low. Oh, definitely isolated. Nice power slide there. Vala moving in with a strafe. Maw takes out ETC, but that's okay. That's pretty minor. FCK is in a really strong position here. They're one talent tier up. Addiction doesn't have their tank, so all they can really do is poke at their opponents. And they're about to hit 16, which is going to give them even more of an advantage, even though Addiction will hit 13 fairly soon themselves. 16 is a big tier, and it looks like they're going to pick up their Bruiser Camp, which is a really smart move. They want to keep applying the pressure on Addiction while they go and pick up the control points. I'm surprised we're not seeing more maneuvers by Falstead. Obviously, Falstead can fly. I would imagine he can set up some great kills with that Mighty Gust. He can really force the team out of position, but they haven't managed to pull anything off yet. They do secure the top capture point, though, but FCK is on the way. No hard engages yet. They're controlling the bottom point, and no one's down there. I'm kind of surprised that no one's trying to steal that point yet. Looks like Thrall's moving in to capture, and I'd be very surprised if nobody moved in to mid to capture that. Oh, there we go. Murden's going mid. Oh, there goes that Mighty Gust. They've isolated ETC. He's power sliding away. Nice little Wandering Keg there, but he's by himself. You know, Chen just didn't have enough support. Strafe forces Addiction to back off. And you've got the dragon up. Murden is the dragon there in the middle lane, decimating the base, while FCK just keeps applying more and more pressure. Looks like they're moving down to him to assist. And you can see massive level difference. 1 kill to 15. Level 14 to 17. Massive difference in level here. 1 talent tier up. And I took a quick peek at Thrall. He did go with Tempest Fury, so he's got the triple strike now on the Wind Fury as well. And you can see FCK is just decimating this base. Absolutely annihilating it. This keeps probably going to go down. He's about to lose the dragon, but they'll still take out the base. And they're backing off. They don't want to push their luck. I'm a little surprised. There's a 4-level difference. I would think that they're going to keep trying to attack them. You can see the Wandering Keg trying to knock them out of position. Such a tricky attack to use. Lots of AoE going off. But at the end of the day, there's a 4-level difference between the two teams. They just can't go head-to-head. And Addiction doesn't seem to realize that. I'm really surprised they tried to use the Wandering Keg to isolate the team. Great maneuver if you're about the same level. When there's a 4-level difference, bad idea. Not that there's too much that they can do at this point. They need to soak, but they don't really have too many options as to how to do it. And looks like Murden there is picking off the top keep, the frontal keep. That one's almost dead. And that's just going to leave two keeps for Addiction. It is not looking good for them. FCK quickly picking up their bruiser camps. Again, they want to keep applying the pressure. They don't want to give any chance for Addiction to recover. Really smart play on all their parts. So, I mean, right now, the way it's looking, the next dragon that goes up is going to end the match. There we go. 30 seconds to next shrine activation. And everything I'm seeing, looks like it's going to be in FCK's favor. Oh, they almost set up a gank on Falstad. He flew out of there. He was like, not going to get me. They're going to pick up the bottom bruiser camp real quick. Smart play on their part. And you can see now FCK picked up the bottom point. They're moving up top. They might catch Zagara. Nope, I don't think they're going to catch Zagara. All the teams are assembled, but again, there's a massive power difference. FCK about to hit level 20, and there's absolutely nothing Addiction's going to be able to do to touch them. That 4-level difference is just too massive. Looks like Addiction is moving down to deal with the bruiser camps. And, there's Falstad moving in to capture the bottom point. Manages to steal it from right under their noses. Very smart play on their part. If FCK managed to get the... Oh, wow. Thrall with the blink there at the last second manages to pick off Falstad. So, it almost worked. It almost worked. But not quite. So there's the dragon up again on FCK's part. The dragon plus the level difference plus the talent difference. This might be GG right here. It looks like they're going to rush the core. That's what it looks like to me. ETC pushed way out of position. Sunder there manages to save him. Wow, he's trying to get away there as best as he can. He's pointing back to base. That's gutsy. That's gutsy. Right from under their noses. Wow. Meanwhile, the dragon is just wailing away. You can see that FCK backed off. They know they don't have their tank. So they're not going to risk it. They're not going to do anything too crazy. Core is down to 43%. Bala goes down. She got a little greedy there. Falstad there. Beautiful. He flies in front of the team. Does the Mighty Gust to push them back into his team. This might be a big comeback. You can see there. ETC is by himself. Murden just got focus fired down. Very nice comeback for Addiction. FCK got just a little greedy there. What can they do, though? You got to understand, there's a massive discrepancy between the two bases. No forts are down on the FCK side. And they still have that talent tier advantage, even though Addiction is quickly closing that gap. Uther there out of position. Wandering Keg kind of pushed him into the enemy's line of fire. Again, still a massive difference, though. As long as the team doesn't go in one by one, which Thrall almost did, as long as the team doesn't go in one by one, they'll be okay. Um, it's still a massive sort of disadvantage on their part. They're going to try and pick up the siege camp. They want to add a lot of pressure. The team still isn't fully up. They're going to need Uther. That's going to be kind of key. But 4 out of 5 are up. Really, they just need one good engage. If they manage to wipe Addiction one more time, FCK can rush the core and take them out. There's no question. Uther's going to be up in about 10 seconds. Addiction doesn't want to take any chances. They're backing off. The shrines are going up in about 15 seconds. Uther's going to be up by then, though. And I wonder if FCK is going to try and run and pick up the north one. Looks like they're going to do that. Are they going to go for the... They're going for the bruisers. I'm going to take a guess, and Falstead's going to fly up, I'm guessing, and try and capture the top point. That's what I would do if I was Falstead. ETC, though, it looks like he's going to go guard it. Falstead hasn't flown up. Keo there, picking up the top fort. They're moving together. Addiction also kind of moving up. It's going to come down to this one last team fight. If Addiction loses one more team fight, they're probably done. So they have to be very careful. And there's the engage. Mighty Gust pushes them away, though. Chen, way out of position. Sunder. Mosh pit. Very nice mosh pit. That triple damage on the Wind Fury is just too much. And it's a 1-for-2 trade. If they can get this dragon, it's GG. There's no question. At this point, we're 20 minutes into the game. The dragon is just too powerful. Core is already at 41%. Doesn't need that much to take it out. Looks like Uther is going to move into position. Thrall, maybe? Uther or Thrall? Yep, there's Thrall. There's the dragon. And that is pretty much GG. I'd be very surprised if they managed to get themselves out of this one. Very, very difficult position to be in. I assume they're just going to rush the core. And that will be that. But let's see. Mighty Gust doesn't do much, though, to deter the dragon. Wandering Keg, try and push him away. But, again, they're just going to wail away at the core. 20, 10. There we go. GG. Well done to FCK. They are going to continue on in the tournament. Addiction, valiant effort to try to make that comeback, but they were just too far behind. All right, 1 second. There we go. So that was a great match. I'm looking forward to see what FCK can pull off next time. You can see there that the team comp played a big role into how that worked out. Everything worked very well together. The sundering with the mosh pit, with Uther stuns. You had a lot of CC, and that really brought things into their favor. So we're going to go ahead and get the next match ready. So until then, keep your eyes peeled for more. I am your host, ChronoCloud, and we'll be right back. There we go. Sorry about that. Welcome back to the Random CS NexVerse 5v5 Championships. I am your host, ChronoCloud, and we are here with the next draft. It is Risky Business versus, I'm going to say just Insane Vultures instead of FKC, because that's going to be a little weird. Insane Vultures. So it's going to be Battlefield of Eternity. This is personally one of my favorite maps. This is the one where you've got the two angels, the heaven side and the hell side, warring with each other, and you have to pick off the opposing side. First bans are out, and you can see Uther and Muradin. Uther's not a surprise. Obviously, best healer in the game right now. Lots of stuns. You want to eliminate him. I understand that. I'm a little surprised at the Muradin ban. He's usually not considered a threat. Although he is a good tank, there are counters to him. So I'm a little surprised that they would give this deny. Maybe Risky Business is familiar with Insane Vultures and knows they're really, really good with Muradin. Maybe they know something I don't know, and that's why they banned him. Maybe not. And you can see the first two picks for each team is out. We've got Tyrande and Raynor. Very standard picks on Risky Business's end. Tyrande's great, provides a lot of vision. She's got a stun. She can heal, and she can buff damage. So she's an all-around good character to have on your team. Doesn't hurt. Usually, you want a second healer. I have seen a couple of teams do a single heal build with her. It's possible. It's just difficult. On the Insane Vulture side, we've got Zagara and Kael'thas. Both very solid picks. Both very, very high damage dealers. Probably two of the highest damage dealers in the game. A few others up there as well, but they're definitely in the, I would say, top 5. Zagara can just really focus fire you down so fast, especially if you don't move out of the way of those little poison balls she spits out. And Risky Business has also picked up Sylvanas. Now, this is interesting to me. Sylvanas is a weird pick for Battlefield of Eternity because this isn't... You can definitely split push here. It's a thing, but it's not as much of a... The map doesn't, I feel personally, doesn't reward split pushing as much as other maps do. But we'll see how they use her. It could be interesting. It might be that they want to use her to disable some of the structures of the Insane Vultures and sort of use her to assist their angel into dealing more damage, potentially. Second bans are out. And you can see that Tassadar has been banned. This is not surprising. Tassadar and Tyrande can actually work well with each other. The shields that Tassadar puts out are pretty good. And if you go with the Force Wall, it can do really well at isolating the team and allowing you to focus fire people down. On the flip side, Risky Business has banned Tyrael. Tyrael is actually one of my favorite tanks to play. But again, I'm surprised that this is a ban here. He's good, but I don't feel like he is a top-tier threat. Again, maybe Risky Business knows something about Insane Vultures, and they like to use Tyrael. Maybe Insane Vultures knows that Risky Business likes to use Muradin. I'm not sure. But it's an interesting ban. Not one that I am accustomed to seeing. Well, looks like we've got our next pick from Insane Vultures. They have picked up Diablo and ETC. So there's that 2-tank comp I was talking about earlier. Very standard. Diablo has been buffed recently, fairly recently. And it's pretty viable right now. He's got a great mechanic, good stun. He works well. And you've got 3 stuns in there of the 4 people picked. So the power slide has a stun. The slam that Diablo does is a stun. And, of course, KL has gravity lapse. All those are stuns. And right now the game's in the place where it really sort of almost is stun heavy or favors stuns. Risky Business, meanwhile, has picked up Johanna. Johanna, another top-tier tank in the game right now. Obviously, very, very hard to kill Johanna. Lots of survivability. They sort of have a pseudo-stun, right? They pull in all the enemies for like a half-second stun. It's very brief, but it can be useful in interrupting someone from pulling off whatever it is they're trying to pull off. So, very good tank pickup. I'm kind of curious to see what their final choice will be. Are they going to go with a DPS? Are they going to pick up a second tank? Or are they going to get another healer to supplement Tyrande? For example, they could go with Malfurion, and then they'll have the roots there. But I don't think that would be a good choice. I feel like they're a little light on damage. They need to be able to either take out the enemy angel or take out the enemy team protecting the angel. And right now, it just doesn't feel like they have enough oomph to finish the job. Looks like they've decided to go with a second healer. Not a bad idea. Karazim is actually a good middle ground. He can pull off a decent amount of damage, depending on how he's spec'd. But he can also do a decent amount of healing, and if they go with 7-sided strike as level 10, he will just decimate ETC and Diablo, just rip them to shreds. So I'll be very watching Karazim very closely to see how he's spec'd. Is he going to spec for a little more damage, a little more healing? We'll see. Of course, the thing to note is Tyrande, Raynor, and Sylvanas are all ranged. Karazim obviously is melee, so is Johanna. So Karazim's going to have to be really working his Radiant Dash to make sure he gets to his teammates to heal them. He has to be